Philip Seymour Hoffman passed away early today, February 2nd, and in trying to react to it, I've realized that there's something weird when a celebrity dies, and that I don't know what the appropriate way to grieve that is. This situation is much more difficult for us to deal with when it's a family member, but at least then you know that it's appropriate for me to talk about how this affects me, because I am the bereaved. I am the person who has a right to be very upset by this. Similarly, when there are events of terror that we may not be directly affected by, we nonetheless know that we are in some way the victims, because the idea was to instill terror, to make us scared. And so we can feel justified in being righteously upset. But when Hoffman passes away of a heroin overdose, leaving behind kids who will grow up without a father, to think that this affects me in any meaningful way seems really self-involved. There's also a bit of a weird thing that when we hear of a celebrity death, we invariably go to the body of work that they have created, and the manner in which it affects us is directly tied to that. When Corey Monteith passed away, people were upset because they liked him on Glee, not because they knew him as a person or had any reason to think he was a good or bad guy. And similarly, I am very distraught over the loss of Philip Seymour Hoffman, not because I have any reason to know what kind of person he is, but because I know that the work that he did affected me in a very profound and meaningful way, and I am sad now that I will not see any more of that. So to me it seems really selfish to be sad about this at all, any more than I would be sad about one random person dying somewhere, because the loss that I feel is nothing like having to grow up without a father or losing a direct family member. My feelings about Philip Seymour Hoffman's loss don't matter, and yet I have been really sad all day. I think the first time that I saw him as an actor was in The Big Lebowski, where he played a relatively minor role, and it wasn't necessarily anything to write home about, but the next time I saw him, I was kind of just blown away when I saw Happiness, which is a movie that is very difficult to watch, and I don't recommend that anybody watch it. I'm almost a little bit embarrassed to say that I really enjoy it as an art, and that I liked it as a movie. Not to give credence to any of the subject of that movie. Don't watch it. But to me, what was very refreshing about Phil's performance, and indeed his performance in a lot of other fantastic movies, is that he's not a big, good-looking superstar actor. Never had a chance of being that. And yet, the roles that he approached with such authenticity, and just realness, and to the point where it's just astounding that anyone could be that vulnerable, whether on a stage or in front of a camera, to the point where even when you're playing a distasteful character, the audience can't just dismiss it as that's the bad guy. But we get pulled into having to, despite ourselves, relate to you and start to understand where you're coming from. And I think that's a very powerful thing to do, and easily the most challenging thing to ever do in art is to let down your guard and let your sincerity bring the audience to your point of view. It's very easy to bludgeon someone over the head with an idea, but to be just remarkably transparent about it and get them to follow you of their own volition is something that very, very few actors have ever been able to do. And I know that Philip's body of work has left a remarkably profound impression on me because he was able to do that. So I think to bring this back around to the idea of having difficulty knowing how to mourn a celebrity is that the fact that it is so difficult, the fact that I feel like this is such a loss for me personally, for film and theater culturally, and obviously for his family, is really a testament to the work that he did with his life. Even without knowing him personally and knowing his faults and foibles, I can say that the glimpse that I got of what he was able to produce really meant an incredible amount to me, and the fact that it hurts that he's gone should really reflect well on what he did with his life. I'm really going to miss him, and I encourage you all, if you haven't had a chance, go ahead and watch some of his work. That's one of the fun things when a celebrity dies, is that there will be plenty of people sharing out their favorites. There'll be a news cycle of, top 10 clips and top blah, but he really had a profound impact on me, and I believe if you go ahead and take a look at his work, you can still benefit from what he did, because the nice thing is that film is kind of timeless like that. Thanks for listening.